The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat post-game show.
Oh, man.
If these fucking people didn't show up, why the fuck should we? You know what I'm saying? Alf and Brass said that they're not coming on. They said, if those motherfuckers quit, I quit. But that's all, but not permanently, like just for tonight. Like, that's fine. Like, no, we need to keep this operation going. Heat lose. Embarrassment, disgrace, every hyperbole in the book. I'm sure that will push some sort of slander everybody's way, everybody that deserves it. I'm gonna take myself out. It's just us. It's just vibes.
Well, I mean, we got enough though.
You gotta. They didn't. They didn't. We did.
No, they did though, and that's why it's upset. They
had enough. We gotta stop that.
We'll get into it. Shout out to Buddha in the Glass for the tier 1 sub. Shout out to Megan 2017 for the tier 1 sub. Listen, happy fucking birthday, Miami Heat Beat. 9 years old today. Sure, 9 years old.
What a way to celebrate.
More effort than the Heat. Yeah, what a way to. I mean, honestly, truly, the best way to celebrate Heat Beat was whatever was going on.
You know what? We need the Heat's record on Heat Beat birthdays because we might be able to get to the bottom of that.
Well, the first day that this show happened was LeBron's game winner against that inspired the show. LeBron's game winner against the Pacers in Game 1 of the conference finals. So,
well, look where LeBron at.
Right.
Home.
Exactly.
That's all Lakers fans talking dirty. Let me tell you something.
Tweet a bunch of emojis.
Laker fans, Sixer fans, stay out of this. Adults are here talking. Who the fuck are you? Who invited you to this? Stay the fuck home.
Yeah, you had a chance to be part of this.
Right. Y'all had your opportunity.
I had a chance to have this talk.
To sit at the grown folks table. Y'all still at the kids table.
This is great. So we're not doing what are we drinking tonight? I don't know. I just put such a shit in the cup and it came out pink.
This is water.
I'm drinking water.
I don't even know what I'm drinking. Happy birthday, Heat Beat.
Happy birthday, Brass.
Happy birthday, Brass.
Now, Brass wanted to keep his birthday intact, so Brass said, fuck these people. Not us.
Good on him.
Well, the Heat and me, not everybody. So instead of what are we drinking, because we're not doing that. We're just gonna go straight into who kicked our ass. Okay, so what do I do? Who kicked our ass?
They kicked our ass.
I miss Olynyk getting kicked. That was my favorite. That was my favorite one.
The Kelly kick.
It's the sound that always came.
Chat's telling me to sage the team. Listen,
team.
I'm gonna make my saging decision tomorrow. Stay tuned. Well, actually, I guess I don't play tomorrow, but I'm making the decision tomorrow, and then you'll find out Wednesday around.
Listen, we might be running out of opportunity
around TPM.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's enough sage for that, but we'll find out what we're gonna do. Tiff, who kicked our ass?
Do we got enough time?
Go ahead. It's just us.
Because I can just start listing motherfuckers.
Do it.
It start with Jimmy Nee.
Cool.
Still Kyle's fucking hamstring. Gabe hamstring. Max hamstring. Everybody on the timeline that said Vic shouldn't play.
Mike Ryan.
Mike Ryan.
Shut up.
Should I keep going? Because I'm going to end with Bam.
I was about to say you missing a big ass.
No, I didn't miss it. That's the end.
Boom.
Because then it's gonna wrap all the way back around to Bam.
Yeah.
I don't care if y'all don't like it, but he could catch this. Like we have to stop. What did they say on The Real World? Start being real. Start telling the truth. You can't show up one every 3 games. We can't have that. You got to help. Do something. Damn.
We're gonna get into Bam. I think there's a lot to say. I think there's a lot to say. Kenny, who kicked our ass?
Shot making. First of all, they just couldn't hit anything. They generated great looks, which is a great thing against a defense like the Celtics. They just couldn't make anything, but whatever. End of the day, this has been the series blowout for blowout. It's 2-2 going back to Miami. We'll see what happens next game. And also, I don't want it to sound like deja vu. And I'm not going to make this excuse, but 38-14 free throw disparity is kind of crazy. Scott Foster went into this game doing the KD warm-up with the little skip and all this other shit. It's what it is. I'm not going to dwell on that because it's an annoying and boring conversation to have after a while. Hey, it is what it is. They couldn't make shots.
Fair enough. Whatever. Bond?
So shot making kicked our ass. And then, right? So shot making got hands, right? Like she ain't do all the ass, but she got hands. And then they laid themselves down at the feet of them hands. Go 0 for 14 to start the game. Don't score a field goal till like 3 minutes left in the first, right? Super less than optimal, especially considering what Kenny said. They were getting good looks. They were getting the type of looks that I've been saying have been there and are going to be there. And that, like Gabe's missing a bunch of runners. PJ missing push shots. Jimmy won't look at the basket today. Bam, back to the basket. And so from there, though, the fact that they didn't play with any type of spark, aggression, force, none of that, almost as if they let a bad shooting performance deflate them and dictate the way that they defend, which would be nuts to think that you can that this particular team can let bad offense dictate their defense, because their defense has to be the thing that takes them wherever the hell it wants to go. It hasn't been a phenomenal half-court offensive team. This has been a group that has lived and brought itself up, playing defense and being gritty, hardest working, best condition, most disciplined, and you saw none of that. Dudes, the ball is bouncing on the floor.
They reaching. They ain't even diving. They doing the sad reach.
We had a rule. If the ball has more than two, is able to bounce on the floor more than twice, somebody got to be on it.
You got to jump on it.
You got to jump on it. Max letting balls just bounce. Bam letting stuff. No one's rebounding like we've been this stellar individual rebounding team all season. No, just they kick their own ass. Bam Adebayo kicked their ass. There's no way you have 5 attempts in this game and you finish with 6 rebounds. Goddamn, Derek Wright gave you 8 rebounds. Jason got 8. Jaylen Brown got 8. Neesmith got 5. Grant Williams got no. I was disappointed yet again.
It's disheartening.
And you can't have multiple disheartening performances of this nature in a series like this. That's unacceptable.
I think I love doing this show with people like Tiff and Bond because I have the insight that you guys provide is as unique as I think anything that anyone's doing, because you guys have played the fucking game. Have you played the fucking game, Kenny? Have you had your goddamn hands in the dirt? Have you caught a fucking rebound in a precious? Did Pat Summit?
I've gotten stitches
go
in
scout
the
you?
Games.
I didn't think so.
I hope Pat Summit wasn't trying to scout me. That's a whole different thing.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay, but regardless, I appreciate the insight that my colleagues give is, I think, the best fucking shit that's going on right now. Happy birthday, MHB. 9 years of doing this. But I disagree a little bit. Mm-hmm. And in terms of where we're putting the blame, I think first and foremost, the blame's on Ethan Skolnick for showing up to the fucking game.
Shouldn't even have been there.
Did the right thing and outed this man.
Look at Will's face.
Look at Will, because Will knew. Will knew. He's like, this motherfucker is gonna fucking cost us the game. And Will knew, and he pointed out. So that's number one. Number one is Ethan Skolnick kicked our ass. Okay.
How do you know you bad luck and show up to the thing?
Right.
Look how smug Ethan is. Ethan
you took a plane for us to lose.
This man paid money for a flight. Got on it. It was probably delayed with all the fucking delays going on everywhere. That's a different conversation. But that was one thing. I think the first thing that you could look at is that. Now you may say, what's the second thing? Is it effort? Is it hamstrings or groins or
stupid,
fucking knees.
Mm.
Absolutely not. It was this motherfucker. Look how Scott Foster shows up.
14.
Look at this man.
That's because they were trying to get to the basket. None of us were trying to do anything.
Exactly.
Do you trust? Look at that guy. He's not friends with that black guy. There's no way. Look at the way he dances.
Right,
That's a man that knew he was going to extend the series. Do you see the way this man is dancing?
I'm glad people and white people are nodding to different beats, I think.
Hold on. Let's play that again.
Who's the guy in the back? Who's the guy in the back that's giving me Michael Scott?
The one on the left looks like he's being held captive.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't want to be there.
You can see the 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
I do have two things to point out, though. One, I don't know what the audience may think is going on, but I really like Ethan Skolnick. He just be covering the game, wearing glasses, smiling, raising his daughter. Everybody doesn't love their daughter, and I don't have a daughter, so maybe that's just common. And, hey, I don't know this motherfucker. Hey, whatever, cool. She got to earn my love. Fine. I like Ethan, though, regardless of what anybody may think. I really like Ethan. That being said, please stop going to games, Ethan.
Ethan,
It doesn't
you don't even listen to Kenny.
Games and stop having watch parties on important games.
Ethan, I'm your friend. Listen to me. Don't do it. Don't do it. And
So-
get Scott Foster out of my life.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't think we're talking enough about how the rest of this series, we never know. The rest of this series relies heavily on Nikias Duncan because he'll be at game
The
five.
last time Nikias went to a Heat Celtic game, the Celtics
We
ran
12
out of
minutes
our own gym.
in. What are y'all talking about?
No, we can't. Nikias can't
I
come
gotta
on.
come,
I'm about to go to bed.
about right. Like, come on.
Listen. Chat says I need to stage Ethan.
Gee, talk about the game.
Let's be
Leave
serious.
Bruce Glass alone.
Let's be serious about a couple things here. Like, divorced from the effort thing that you guys covered, it was just truly, I mean, they straight up felt like they quit at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy's knee, as Tiff said, is fucked up.
Yep.
Kyle's hammy's fucked up. For as much as we shit on Tyler Hero, the fact that when you knew that, oh, the starters don't got it, and you look to the bench, you're like, there's one guy that might help. You know what I mean? That's another aspect of it. Being a ball handler short against a really switch heavy defense, I think is just so.
They didn't even get
bad.
to all the switches.
I was gonna say we didn't get into anything.
A bunch of drops.
This offense is so limited that when you're a ball handler short, like it matters. So that's going on. They're so banged up. PJ's not right. None of these guys are right. And then the Celtics side, it's the same. Like Marcus obviously didn't play. Rob is not 100%. Like, Derek White, I think, hurt his hamstring at the end of the game. He was clutching it. Guys are hurt on all sides, on both sides of the court. I'm not saying that. Miami's really limited. But their offense stalls out so often. And when they don't, they were able to get to those pull-ups pretty easy. I think that stretch that the game was lost within the first 10 minutes of the game. But why is chat saying I've been horrible? When those pull-ups don't go and a team is sitting a shot blocker in the paint or having him help Siobhan, they just really don't have a lot of plan Bs.
Tell them why that's our fault that it's a shot blocker planted in the lane.
Well, he's helping off of PJ is the point.
No, Shy.
Well, I'm going to give you that. The plan B has to be defense. You not making shots. The plan B has to be muddying stuff up, making dudes uncomfortable, being tenacious, having some type of urgency. Oh shit, I can't hit anything. Let me try to lock somebody on. Let me try to get to the basket. If Rob Williams is guarding PJ and that's why he's planted in the lane, cool. If not, that's a different thing that I guess we can get into later. But they can't.
I didn't think the defense was a problem tonight.
It wasn't the problem, but it wasn't ratcheted up enough to supplement the fact that the offense was the problem.
I mean, the Celtics shot 39% from the field.
But
Derek White
you can't
went
just
4 for 14.
But this is not a game where you can look at the numbers, G.
No, I agree.
Like they didn't. The Celtics
and it doesn't
weren't.
even feel like they shot that poorly because you didn't feel Miami.
No, I felt that way when the Celtics were. I mean, the Heat went 0 for 13, and the Celtics had only scored like 12 points.
That's right. It was like 16-1. That is exactly.
But what I'm saying is that there was like in that before they made their first field goal, they were up like 12 or 13, and it wasn't like the Celtic offense was getting a bunch of good. I agree with Siobhan that I just like the defense wasn't as good as it's been, especially coming off of that fourth quarter in Game 3. But I mean, this was I think a failure of the offense, like first and foremost, before we can even touch what happened on defense.
Yeah, because what happened, they missed all those shots and they led to long rebounds, which led to transition buckets. Even if it weren't long rebounds, Al Horford was pushing. It was just the shot making, the shot missing pretty much. That was the game.
Being small kicked their ass off.
Being small, not hustling, not getting back, not crashing the boards, leaving your 3 guards to fight Robert Williams under the basket. Like, call it what it really is. Like, no, you should be concerned that we can't have a good game if Robert Williams plays. Like, look at it. He's playing Wednesday. So you got to fix that. And if he's guarding PJ and PJ is home alone, then PJ needs to start hitting. If he's guarding PJ, who the hell is guarding Bam? That's what I want to know. So then guess what? You might not be able to outmuscle him, but I do believe you're taller.
Taller, quicker, more agile.
Exactly. You should be able to get a step back. You should be able to get a 1 dribble pull up. You should be able to get a fade away. You should be able to even post and look for somebody cutting. But
you should give me more than 6 rebounds.
Come on, like this is asinine to like even say, oh, he's sitting in the lane. Okay, then work on the other side of the floor because clearly he's not going to take his eye off PJ. So that means move the offense to the other side. And if Bam don't want to post, then you got to find somebody else who can get into the post and make it work.
So in Game 1, Rob Williams did play, and Miami played well, and a lot of that was just Jimmy being great.
Right.
I think the issue with Tiff, I agree, and I would even put Rob in pick and roll just so that he's not on the weak side coming to help. You get him in a drop, which I thought they did a little bit early. I just didn't think they committed to it that much. And I understand that, and this wasn't even like a Jimmy-centric offense because Jimmy likes guard screens, right? Jimmy wants to small do whatever. And they were just they were screening with Bam, I guess, to get him going, but it wasn't really working out for them.
Yeah, I just think at this point, if Williams is in the game, I'm not having Bam up top guarding anybody. He's got to stay down low. He's got to offer some sort of pressure to get, even if he only boxes out and Kyle comes in for the rebound. But you got to keep him glued underneath to Robert Williams because he's murdering us.
And maybe, Bonnet, maybe you were watching a little more closely. I think that zone is where a lot of the offensive rebounding stuff came into play for Boston. I just thought those zone minutes were in the second quarter were awful. Like it was Horford and it was Rob Williams. It was like what Miami did to Philly when Philly went to a zone. That's what it reminded me of.
It's difficult rebounding out of the zone, period, because offense is moving, offense is weaving in and out of lanes and stuff, and in the zone, you're in your area or whatever. But some of it came then, but not all of it, right? There was a possession where they got the stop. And Boston got like 3 straight offensive rebounds, all under the cup. Jaylen Brown one time was driving, got to the lane, fumbled it, and was able to just toss the shit up, knowing that he had 6'9", 7'6" going this way, just there to go get it. In the zone or not, like Miami had a difficult time rebounding, and they're going to have a difficult time rebounding, committing to the defense that they playing against this team. You got Rob Williams, Al Horford, Grant Williams, and all of their guards are big. Jason's tall. Jaylen has body. And so the rebound, it has to be a collective thing. It has to be a group effort. This has been a team that's been game rebounding the whole season. I've been what's the word? Speculative. I've been I don't know, kind of side-eyeing some of the rebounding numbers because it didn't feel not real to me, but like, I don't know, you have to commit to rebounding as a group if that's what you're going to do. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline. And to not have like individuals that can just go up, get me one, and then we're down, going the other way. It's a lot, man. The way that Miami plays and has to play to remain competitive and to stay in games and series, it's gonna wear on you, and especially when you just are playing against like good isolation people.
I don't disagree. I think that's a huge part of it. Chat says G just stop and listen to Tiff. That's truly that is a way of life.
Key to life.
Things go really well about that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the individuals. Let's start with Bam and let's move our way down. Just the second field goal came with like halfway through the second quarter. We can make excuses on like they didn't feed him the ball, they're not running Bam screens and roll and stuff like that. You know, Alf came into chat saying we won the fourth quarter. Look at that, they finally won another quarter. At the end of the day, you know, we saw what he's capable of doing, whether it's posting up on the block and facing up, whether it's just offensive rebounding, being physical, not letting dudes guard him. Tiff, I didn't like him starting with the jumper. I'd rather him be aggressive and then flow into the jumper later. Right. What did you see from him? You know, if you're in that locker room, what the fuck are you telling him?
I ain't telling him shit. I don't even see him right now. Like, the problem that like everybody like wants to run away from, he doesn't do well against physical centers.
Because he's not a center.
He just doesn't. Like, he doesn't do
Siobhan,
well.
Siobhan, was he a center? Yes. Was he a center in game 3?
When their center wasn't on the floor. When they didn't have a center on the floor. Yeah.
There's a discrepancy when it's somebody as big or bigger and as strong and or stronger.
Yes.
Like, there's a discrepancy in his play. And a lot of that is they got to figure out in the offseason who they want him to be offensively. Yeah. Because he's still a hodgepodge, which means he has the requisite skill set, but he can't do it every night, which is a huge problem for them. So they just got to figure out what they want Bam to be and how they want him to play. Because we saw it. He can do all these things, but he can't do it every single night. That's a huge problem because guess what? We got too many people limping up and down the court, and he can't make it happen. He can't make it happen.
One right now.
He's the healthiest one. Yep, G, just like that.
He has to figure out what he wants to be too. It needs to be a brain trust, a group think. Like, yo, we got this big ass piece of marble. What are we chiseling this thing into?
I think they want him to be a rim rolling big. And the problem is that you just got to be a little more than that. Mm-hmm. And I think the offense isn't, especially right now, because before it was a little different because they ran more movement off of pin downs off of him. So it gave him a playmaking role. Now he's not a playmaker. He's a rim runner, and they don't run mid-post offense. It's really, they just kind of back into it.
Because where do you roll to the rim at with Robert Williams just sitting there? You have to, like you said, you have to run some mid-post offense.
And that's just not a feature of what the Heat do.
And
so he's just stuck in this position of like,
but he's also not stuck. Like, why do we keep waiting for like all these things to happen?
I'm not excusing him.
No, not you. I mean, just the collective view. Like, we're waiting for things to happen for or to Bam. No, Bam's got to take the Bulls by the horn and just say, all right, I got these moves. I can do this. Listen, it's not about the loss. It's about what you did during the loss. And you did nothing.
Last game, he was rolling, playing well, and then was asking for the ball. Like,
and keying up and down the court.
Cool. Why are we not asking for it today? Like, he has to work on his confidence, his skills. And like you said, all of that, just what does he want to be? Because this version of him right now is going to keep this team kind of capped at where they are.
He's at Kenny, what are you gonna say?
I wasn't gonna say anything. I like really wasn't joking when I said I never want to have the damn aggressive conversation again. I think that's the rest of the panel. I don't have an issue with it. I just don't.
No, but this is not about being aggressive. This is about actually doing your job. This has nothing to do with aggression.
Listen, he had a bad game. I mean, like I think this is.
But it's not the first. It's not the first.
We know who he is. Like,
and there's but gee, look at where we are in the playoffs, and there's a pattern. When Robert Williams shows up, right? But when Robert Williams shows up, Bam disappears. That's a big deal. Because this man,
I don't totally agree with that.
When G,
they had regular season matchups where he was good. Like Robert Williams has played 2 games in this series, or 3 games. I'm sorry, was it 2 or 3? Whatever.
And he's banished him in the 3 games he's played.
I don't think Bam was that bad in game 1. I thought the offense was Jimmy was clearly the engine that night, and they did not have a problem. And Rob Williams was not an issue in game 1 on truly either end of the floor.
Oh, that's a lie. They started the game with like 4 lobs to him.
They sure did. I don't even know what G was watching.
Well, hold on, wait a second. But that's Miami's defense in general, because they switch and they crowd
that's
ball handlers.
That's fine.
That lob is going to be there.
That's fine.
The part is making that. No, hold on. The part is making that pass hard. That's how the defense works.
But so
they were giving that up to whatever Sixer backup guy was there. They were giving it up to whatever Atlanta backup center was there. Like that's a feature of the defense, and that's why we all said Clint Capella's vertical play will change the series if he's right, because that's just how their defense works.
Yeah, so I'm not disputing that,
because they're small. Because they are small.
The point was he had no impact, or he didn't make a difference on either end in game 1, and that's incorrect.
I mean, what I'm saying is like a problem. Like, okay, how are we going to deal with Rob kind of thing? It was like, okay,
you might want to start thinking about it.
I mean, again, they won game 1. It was pretty comfortably.
Listen,
well, you just said
if you want to have the conversation, we're going to have the real conversation. Like, we can't just sit up here and say we're going to have the conversation, and then it just becomes.
And this loss ain't all on Bam.
Right, it's not.
No, it's not all on Bam. No, and I don't want to do. I didn't want to do too much on Bam because I feel like it's relitigation of.
He had a bad game. Move on, because everybody had a bad game, but Victor.
Victor had a good game, which just sucks that they wasted the Vic game.
Yeah,
Jimmy doesn't look right.
He doesn't look healthy at all.
He doesn't look healthy, and if he doesn't look healthy, this is over. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm curious how you guys feel. Duncan was so bad the first half. He was awful, and I was even like, we said in the chat, it's like no more Duncan, and then he started playing better in the second half, and I wonder if the way that the season has progressed and his minutes, and I will say that his minutes, he was not doing so great when his minutes were taken away, but he's just looked he's looked so lost and he looked scared out there. And I think after getting in a rhythm, he looked a lot better. Mm-hmm. Bon, do you think that like maybe this can get him going a little bit, especially if they're going to, because if they're, and Schmidt is right. He was playing against Backus in the second half. But do you think that, I just thought he looked a little better. And if Tyler's going to miss time, they're going to need somebody to do something. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, going to game 4, before I watch the film, did you see anything there that we could go?
Well, Jeff was talking about it toward the end of the broadcast, and that for a shooter, seeing a few baskets go in, even if in garbage time, in crunch, or, in garbage time rather, that can do something to lift the spirit. I don't know, lift the momentum, get you some confidence going into, the next game. His issue is he could have gained whatever confidence he did at the end of this game in his shot. If he can't stay on the floor,
right,
then it does nothing for me. If he can't stay out of foul trouble, someone else today just flying past people on simple fakes. The most of them were, I guess, better defense or better disciplined on the closeouts, but just flying past people, running to Jason on the 3 Duncan did. I do believe that playing in garbage time and having seen some shots go in could shake him loose. it's on Boston's mind, at least at this moment. Oh, damn, you fucking okay. So maybe that is something that we have to account for as a defense, but it doesn't matter if I can't play you.
I think,
but they need him.
They do.
They need him. They need him.
And I will play him and Max at the same time. Like,
yeah, I would too.
Something dynamic on both sides of the floor.
I mostly agree with Siobhan here. At the end of the day, the shooting wasn't the main reason he's been out of the rotation. We saw he shot well, and then his minutes dwindled down. And when he was guarding Jason Tatum in that first half. I can't blame the referees for those fouls. He just makes dumb decisions on offense sometimes. Right. So even if the shots are falling, if he's going to kill the momentum by fouling guys,
right?
It's too late in the season to really try to.
But there's no match. But there, Kenny, look at it this way: there is no matchup for him.
Yeah.
For who?
Like an easier defensive matchup. There isn't. So the reality is, we need his scoring, and then you try to keep him out there with like a Kyle and a Max and a Jimmy and a Bam, and then hopefully, they can kind of cover if he's not making those kind of fouls where he's just running into people, but they can kind of cover for him on defense.
They can play.
You need him.
And I don't want to sound like Duncan is this defensive liability because he showed all season that he's not, but Jason Tatum is not the matchup for him. He's too crafty.
Hell no.
Well,
Jason Tatum's too crafty for Duncan.
There's no matchup for him.
Yeah.
The way that Miami has tried to hide he and Tyler defensively throughout the season has been kind of going to I've talked about it a little bit in some breakdowns, like going into a zone, but playing one of them as the middle part of that zone to where they're just funneling people now to better defenders on their sides. They're not having to be responsible for a whole side or wing of defense just themselves. They're able to kind of corral people. And maybe you can do that. Maybe you can do that, but maybe you can't. I don't know. I do think they definitely need his offense, but like you said,
I feel like he's long enough to put in the middle of that zone. His arms are long enough to where he should be able to funnel, but you need his offense.
I'm done with the zone. You guys want more zone?
No, but shit.
No, I'm saying that's the way that you hide him defensively.
Right, to hide him.
So Duncan's issue on defense has never been being in the right spot or staying in front of his man has been for a while, and sometimes it's just the fouls. It's the fouls.
Because he doesn't have balance.
You can't afford that
because his feet. You're handsy when your feet are bad.
Yes.
You can't
sometimes in front of a dude and like fucking like he's just too like
he's leaning forward.
But while we're talking defense, and while the guy Prod by Pack in the chat kind of reminded me, I do want to shout out Gabe. Gabe wasn't bad tonight either. He's just
that defense early on. Gabe was trying to give them something.
He got to give me.
I'm not mad at Gabe either. Victor on the deep on Gabe, I'm not mad at.
He got like 5 running looks that were all great looks. I'm like, damn, you got to hit one of them.
That was everybody though.
I'm going to say this. They lost game 4 to Philly in Philadelphia, and it felt over. A lot of people were like, this is over. This is a wrap. Embiid is back. Look, they can't do shit against Embiid and blah, 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 blah. And I think the swaying game to game, I understand. I mean, Miami also have bludgeoned the Celtics to hell where the Celtics look like, they couldn't score because they can't stop turning the fucking ball over because, as we've said, previewing the series, they're not good playmakers. They're not good passers. And you put a little heat on them, they're going to make a ton of mistakes because they have to move the ball because their offense is just like ours and they have a lot of warts, right? And like, okay, it's one day Tatum's super, one day Jimmy's super. Back and forth we go. Now Tatum has a fucking stinger. He's getting treated on the bench. Look good today. Let's see next game. So all that stuff. And I think that every concern that we've had about this team throughout the season has shown itself at some point or another at different points in this playoffs, whether it be they're a little small in the back end sometimes where offensive rebounding is a concern, whether it's a half-court offense, whether it's, teams kind of picking on some of their guards or whatever. And they've overcome a lot of that. I don't think Boston's this great team that is like really scaring you. I think they're a bad matchup for Miami. And if anybody wants to correct me, I don't think it's the best matchup. Miami's really injured right now. If Jimmy's not superhuman, it's really hard because you just don't have a lot of top end talent. You have a lot of like number 3s on your team, and Jimmy is supposed to, and they're just more they're like greater than the sum of their parts. And Siobhan, as you said a lot of times, they need like that. What you said about the rebounding and this and that, they need to be firing on all cylinders to really reach their potential. I think we all trust them. Do we trust? I trust them to respond. Kenny, do you?
Look, I'm gonna tell you like this at the end of the day. We could talk about the difference in the score and making shots and missing shots, who's aggressive, who's not, who needs to do what, point fingers. What. We can do all this breakdown stuff we want. It's 2-2 going back to Miami. I got the fucking guts. The guts don't go away. It's 2-2 going back to Miami.
Excuse me. Can she? G said, G, shut it. Boston has lots of length and talent. Yeah, he'd have to play their best to beat them. What the fuck did I say? Are you fucking listening? Get the cellulite out of your ears, you dumb fuck. How about you fucking listen when people talk to you? What the fuck did I just say? I said that he'd have to play and fire at all cylinders to win. Are you fucking stupid? Get the fuck out of here and go to the post up. What the fuck is wrong with you? When people talk, listen.
But yeah, it's the conference finals. Of course, like they have to play their best to beat the other team. That's just basketball. That's the thing, man. Like, and I've like if people, I'm sure people have noticed I'm quieter than usual because I'm irritable. Because like there's like 70% of Heat fans who really annoy me with the overly negative stuff just in my mentions unprovoked. So I got off Twitter. But it's like there's so much just putting other teams up on this giant pedestal and then just being terrified because the Heat are not this or that or whatever the case is. The series is over when it's over. Right now it's not. But I'm not about to fucking shaking my boots and but it's the Celtics. They got Jason Tatum. We'll see how the series plays out. I'm not about to do all this, man. I'm not about to do this. But they got this person and that person, and I don't know if the Heat's talent, and I don't care. I do not give a single fuck. When the series is over, I'll see how I react then. But right now, leave me personally, just leave me alone with it. Have the discourse, have the conversations, leave me alone with it.
Again, the Celtics have a lot of talk. The Celtics had the best player in the series today. It's fucking Scott Foster. We're bearing the lead here. The Celtics stars showed up. Jason Tatum played well, and Scott Foster made his presence felt.
He dropped 81.
Scott Foster had his wilt game. Look at him.
Just fucking nod.
They can't get over it. What are they listening?
I do want to know what song this is.
Right. No, I don't want to know what song it is.
By the way, RP Young Dolph in the background. We miss you.
Too much. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I do have a solution. So I've been looking at numbers as we've talked and had our fill. I've looked at numbers. I've done a bunch of stuff. I highlighted two things in the beginning, but there's a solution that I don't think we've thought about yet.
Something stupid. Go ahead.
I know.
Ethan, please stop going to games.
For real. Nah, yeah. Teams have to play well to win games. Yeah, no. Breaking news, that's not a thing.
We know that. Listen, at the end of the day, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just telling y'all how I see it because G is tanking tonight.
Am I that bad? I think
G taking the show real bad.
I think I've been fine. You guys, you and Siobhan make a face every time I make a Scott Foster joke. Especially
because we're over it, G. You're like that kid that tells the same joke 5 times.
They fucking chat a shit game. What do you want to say? I don't know. We make Scott Foster jokes.
G.
To your original point about like, do we trust them to respond?
Right. That's where I was about to go to.
Yeah, I trust them.
Here's the thing. I don't know what's going on with Jimmy. That's where I'm wavering because if he's not healthy, that's that. It's a wrap.
I trust them to play with more urgency than they did tonight. That is what I trust them to do. And if they don't do that, then again, even further disheartened. And it's right because they can't afford to not do that.
Right. It's not about the loss. It's just like, damn, y'all didn't show up.
And I understand it's 2-2. This team will be more than happy to go back.
Kenny, stop showing us the top of your hat.
This team would be more than happy to go back to Miami with a split. But we wasting chances. Like what was that? Like game 1 of the Bucks series last season, where like all of them shot terribly, all of Milwaukee shot terribly. Great, yeah. Yes, be satisfied with stuff, but like don't rest on just satisfactory things. When you have the chance to be better, or to like really take a hold of something,
right,
you kind of want to do it, because now we're satisfactory, and now it's even, and now things are back level, and you put yourself in a position to like, some shit can just go wrong. When you have the chance to be in firm control, you should want to take it, and they didn't play like they wanted to take it.
Just do better.
Yes, if they were going to play with this effort, Alf, then yeah, Jimmy shouldn't have played.
Right. That's what I said earlier. Like, why was he even there? I don't care. Just do better. Win or lose. That's my whole thing. Like, I don't care about the losses. Just play. Just better. Show up. Make me feel you care.
Dive on the floor. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. Stop watching the fucking ball roll 3 feet away from you. Get on the ground. Show me that, we here. Like, it's the Eastern Conference Finals. You gotta show up.
Offense has to play better. They gotta play with more edge.
Shots.
Just overall,
they had no edge, and they need edge to win. They're just not a team. And we talked about this. I mean, they're not talented enough to just walk in the gym and win. He'd have home court. They win game 5. They guarantee game 7 on their home floor. That's what you play for. Game 7s. Home teams. Miami's had 1 loss at home, and it was a weird one. But they've only lost once at home this playoffs. They've been they were, I think, the second best home team, or the second or third best home team in the whole league this year. So, you have home court advantage. You came into Boston needing a split. You got it. Mm-hmm. Boston played today as if it was a must-win game. The Heat did not. And it showed.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It showed. It can't show no more.
No, Alf is not on PTO.
Alf gets paid if he comes or not, just because I'm scared of him. Alf like bullies me and like puts me upside down for my lunch money. Alf is in charge here, not me.
I ain't coming for the rest of the season.
Alf is strong.
Huh? What, Kenny?
I said Alf is strong.
Alf is bad, G. We do who kicks my ass. It's Alf every day.
Man, they can't look like this next game. They got to.
Why is Alf in Arkansas?
What?
Alf, I hope you're not working, because it's like 5 black people there.
You better go find them and hide. Yep. Stay together.